we'll move on to kind of a fun topic being floated in the college football world. LeBron James, mentioning a little jokingly, but asking if he even has eligibility to come and play at Ohio State. A lot of people talking about, what that would look like, kind of, if in some fantasy world that LeBron James actually came and played tight end, how that would work. You have people chiming in, Brian Hartline saying, I got you. We already talked about this. You're good. Tweets out a picture of them together at that Notre Dame game. The Ohio State AD comes out and he kind of states the rules.
It's all good.
Pretty much says, yeah, you're allowed because you never went to college. You still have your eligibility remaining. He could come and play right now, making it known that it's definitely a possibility. But yeah, I mean, for a player like LeBron, who's in the NBA, one of the most dominant players ever, super athletic freak, maybe one of the best athletes we've ever seen
play the game, really
play the game of basketball, but maybe just regardless of sport, 6'8" guy, 260, super athletic, jumps out the roof fast. Just imagining him lining up at tight end in an offense like Ohio State's,
right?
It's a pretty interesting thing to think about.
I think it's interesting too, only because outside of his athletic ability and things like that, the reason why he's still playing this game at such a high level is because of his intellect. And it's kind of like we have those players like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees before he retired. The reason why they have this longevity is outside of their athleticism. And say if LeBron started out playing football and he played football at Ohio State, imagine what he could have been as a wide receiver, or if he could have been a tight end, whatever the case may have been. But it's like, I mean, at this point now, I feel like LeBron, I mean, you throw him in at tight end, what can you really do?
Right, and tight end is a interesting position because it's one of the positions, it's on offense, right? So as a guy who comes from the NBA, I don't think there's many NBA players that can come and switch over to play the game of football seriously. I mean, just, there's some physicality in basketball, but nowhere near the level of the NFL.
Right.
But if you were going to make the change, quarterback would be an easy one if you had the skills, right?
You have to have the skill set for that.
Yeah, but that's almost, you're almost never going to find somebody who could step in and be a quarterback. But the tight end position is a position where, there's a lot of skill involved. You're on offense. You don't have to be as gritty and as physical. You could kind of hide the tight end. You could put them in packages where you're going to pass.
Right.
And, even if LeBron needed to block, I don't think he's going to come in and be a great blocker from the jump.
I don't think he's going to be Gronk, but I think he'll be able to
with his size and his athleticism, you would think that he might be able to step in and be decent enough to be in there on times when he does have to block. So it's not always, LeBron's in, they're passing the ball, just enough to,
to keep the defense honest.
Right.
What's funny too? They were actually they had a video, it surfaced recently, and it was like, out of everybody, I think it was like on the Team USA thing, and they were like, out of everybody in this gym right now, who you think could play in the NFL? It was actually Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was like, yeah, I could play for sure. Mm-hmm. And then Kevin Durant was like, so they asked Kevin Durant, they're like, oh yeah, out of all of these people, who do you think? And so they're like, I don't really know. And there's like, oh yeah, Jimmy said, he's like, man, Jimmy's an idiot. Like, it's like Jimmy Butler, really, what position is Jimmy Butler going to play in the NFL or in football? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it would be interesting to see what LeBron, maybe even wide receiver, because you got to think about it too. Like, a great blocking wide receiver is also really dependable. Look at the Larry Fitzgeralds of the world. Look at, obviously, I mean, George Pickens. He's a great blocker. So imagine that would just be great. That would just allow a whole nother facet to your offense. So.
Yeah, and I would probably leave him at tight end, and maybe you flex him out when you want to sometimes, but you gotta love the matchups at tight end because he's not really getting pressed on the outside.
Right.
If you're Ohio State, you're going against top tier
Top-tier
corners and stuff like
cornerbacks,
that.
yeah.
You have him at tight end. He's not getting pressed. He's getting matched up with linebackers
Yeah,
and
he's getting
safeties.
way past
There's just no
linebackers.
shot. I mean, this guy hit somebody on a post route on a cover 2, and he's gone.
Right.
But yeah, definitely some interesting stuff to think about there.